is highly important to me. So follow along. First of all, what you see here is an oath of enlistment. And you might say, what is this? Well, oath of enlistment is something that I took years ago. And it says, I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution. And you know, as men of God, we don't swear, but we affirm, we tell the truth. Of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Now, why this is important is because back in the day I took an oath. And I said I would fight against enemies that were foreign and domestic. But I never thought that we would, or I would actually have to fight here domestically, the place where I stay. I never knew, or it's not that I never knew, but I never thought it would be me having to fight. It's one thing to go overseas and fight, but it's another thing to have to fight where you supposedly be, the place you defended, the place that you protected. It's kind of wild when you have to defend or fight just to keep a place to lay your head after you've went overseas to fight to protect your own country and state. Then you have to come home and fight more domestically. But I guess this was an oath I took, and it was something that I said I would do. I know there's a lot of soldiers out there that could identify with what I'm talking about. I'm going to go down and skip down to this here, which is called the Soldier Creed. This was something we had to, in basic training, you would quote this like every morning. You would say, I'm an American soldier. I am a warrior and a member of a team. And a lot of this has a lot of meaning. But I'm not sure if the team, once you depart from the military, you may no longer have a team. But that don't stop you from being a soldier. That don't stop you from being a warrior. But I know every good soldier and every good warrior is definitely looking to build a team outside of the United States Army, because we are still soldiers, we're still warriors. And while we were in, we served the people of the United States, we lived the Army values. Like myself, if you went in and you left out with an honorable discharge. But some of the key things that are very, very, very important. The first one is nice, where it says, I will always place the mission first. But these are key points for these next couple ones, because it uses the word never. It says, I will never accept defeat. I will never quit. And I want to stop right there on that one, because certain things have been ingrained inside of soldiers like myself, that I will never accept defeat and I will never quit. So talking about the Soldier's Creed and also the Oath of Enlistment, why this is important is because it doesn't matter what I'm doing or what I'm going through in life. If I have to fight here domestically, I want my enemies to know that I will never accept defeat and I will never quit. These are some things that are ingrained within me, because I am truly that soldier and that warrior. Okay? Like I said, this was something that was very serious to me. Matter of fact, let me do it like this. Well, yeah, this is me here while I was overseas in Iraq. Had the opportunity to go and fight so that we could have freedom here in America. Didn't know that I would have to come back home and continue to fight for a place to lay my head. But I didn't mind, Yep, I truly didn't mind. That's what I signed up for, right? And I'm thankful. Back then, when I was just a specialist, upon getting out, got promoted all the way to a staff sergeant. Long story short, let's take you down a little bit of memory lane. True warrior, true soldier. Why this is important? Because being in the military, matter of fact, take a look at this. Hopefully I ain't got none of my information. Oh, I need to blur out. I don't know. But I had to go through this later and maybe blur out some things if need be. But I remember back in 2014 when I was on orders, and I'm looking for some of my other documents and papers to talk about the fact that I was in the military. As you can see right here, underneath the cursor, it says October the 9th, 2014. Here he talks about it as well. But I remember having a training schedule here. This was, I guess, given September the 8th. And I'm trying to see, was this our packing list from the instructors of training? But I know this was about the time of September. And why I'm talking about this is because I know I was still in the military during 2014. But this is just evidence of that. Me being in the military during the 2014. But somehow, some kind of strange reason, while serving in the military, I was definitely disrespected by Branch Banking and Trust Company. As you can see here, they said, I guess this paper was filed September 25th, 2014. Now, considering that I'm a first-time home owner, Branch Banking and Trust Company decided to come tack and mail affidavit for summons of dispossessory on my door. And I guess they said, hey, I didn't pay my rent or whatever, or they were foreclosing. I was told that they foreclosed on my property in 2014. For whatever reason, yeah, I was in the military. Yeah, I probably should have paid better attention. But there's a right way to do a thing, and the lawful way of foreclosing on a person's property is by serving them papers. It is never lawful to tack and mail, because I've never got whatever mail that they tacked, as you can see right here, whatever they tacked and mailed on my door, I never received. I never knew my house was going in foreclosure. During the time when I was actually on orders, I was just really drilling for points. I was not accepting military pay at the time because I was a disabled vet, and I couldn't, accept pay and get my disability at the same time. So everything I was doing was actually just for points. So while serving in the military, as you can see, they decided to foreclose on my property without properly notifying me by serving me papers. And that's just the right thing to do. Tack and mail is only used when a person is renting your property. You can tack and mail. But like I said, I was definitely disrespected by the bank. And it's sort of kind of sad because the bank and the courts have teamed up together to, I guess, make me quit. But I guess them not knowing that I never quit. I never give up. I won't accept defeat. So this was my first house that I, bought, and I guess they decided they was gonna come take it from me. And I guess they thought they would take it without a fight, but that's just not how it go. Some of you all are aware of what's SCRA. This is the Service Member Civil Rights Relief Act. My apologies. It used to be called the Soldiers and Sailors Civil Relief Act, basically stating that as long as you couldn't foreclose on the soldier's property, especially when he's on orders. But like I said, nobody cared. Nobody ever, I don't know what they thought or what they were thinking, or maybe they were not thinking. But this is pretty much what the law states. What is important to note that the SART provides protection not only to the persons on active military service, but also offers some protections after termination of active military status. So the protection that I was supposed to receive, I didn't receive, and trying to notify and give the courts notice of the illegal activity. Well, it seemed like the courts were not listening. They would just listen to the bank, wasn't listening to me, or wasn't really paying attention to the law. But just want to show this for those who don't know. Let me show you a little bit more here. So for most of y'all know that I've been fighting this wild case with the courts. I'm gonna first start off over here. Most of y'all know that BB&T have joined with SunTrust, and they have now become Truist Bank, as y'all can see here. So formerly known as BB&T, but they call themselves Truist. But anyway, most of y'all may have known for years, since 2019, I've been fighting. Well, actually, I've been fighting for my house for a good while now, way longer than 2019. For 2019, the police have alleged that I burglarized my home. And when I say my home, it's because it's been mine. It has been stolen from me. And like I say, it's definitely alleged. And the sad part about it is the bank themselves states right here in this particular letter I'm about to read to you guys, they know exactly who was in the home. But yet and still, they're I guess teaming up with the bank, because I was lawfully and legally going through the courts to get my house back. But they're trying to pin on me a burglary charge when I have this guy, Jack Glosha, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, who emailed Robert Houellette and told Mr. Houellette this. He said, attaches a copy of the $3,375 property maintenance expense. Truist occurred after finally being able to gain possession of Jermaine Bradley's property. Notice how the bank, who they know they're trying to steal my property, but they said Truist, they occurred this after gaining possession of Jermaine Bradley's property, located at 230 Camelot Drive in Fayetteville, Georgia. The second attachment pertains to another expense that they say they occurred. But now here's the thing. It said Truist Bank had to evict occupants by the name of Pendergrass. Notice what they said. On 3 separate occasions. So them knowing who was in the property. This is the bank. This is the guy from Truist. Notice it. It come from this guy at Truist.com. And notice when he said this email was sent in 2021. Let me find that date. The date is on here. Oh, right here. This was sent in September 24th, 2021, as you can see here. So they said they had to evict Pendergrass, them knowing who exactly was in the property. And it says the Pendergrass claimed to be tenants of Jermaine Bradley and moved back into the property after the first 2 evictions. We were finally able to move the occupants and keep them out after the 3rd evictions executed by the sheriff's office. The total expense directly related to Pendergrass matter total in this particular price. Here you go. Thanks for your assistance. Please let me know if I can be any further of assistance. So them knowing who they were evicting and who was in the property, but yet and still they are trying to pin this on me. But later I'm gonna let y'all watch a video. So remember this name, Pendergrass, and I'm gonna let y'all know who he really is. Well, I might let y'all know in a second. Let me see. Let me go down the page. Yep, I'm gonna let you know right here. At one point in time, I knew I was fighting to get my house back, and I knew someone had moved into the house. I didn't know exactly who it was. So I myself went down to the court and I placed some papers in. I said, hey, we need to get whoever's in that house out of the house because it's my house. I'm still fighting to get my house or keep my house. And this is what I filed. And this was actually the day I met this guy. His name here is Alan Pendergrass. I'm gonna let y'all say his full name on some other documents in a minute. But I never had met the man until this day. And I guess that was May the 31st. So I met this man face to face at court. And, the judge told us to go out in the hallway and see if we could figure it out, without having to involve the judge. And so, I talked to the man and he explained to me that he didn't have a place to go. He invested a lot of money into the house. And, he just needed to stay there. So I just, kindly told him, well, listen, I want you to understand that this is my house and right now I'm fighting to get it back through the court system. So him moving in there, I didn't tell him to move in there. And, I would have, fought to get him out. But I don't know if he had really put money into the house like he said he did. But like I said, I know I wasn't living in it at the time. So why did I really didn't care. I just wanted to get it back legally from the court. And that's all I wanted. But I met this man for the first time. I didn't really look into it much after that. I just, went my way. But it was funny because before this date, which is January the 18th, or May the 31st, actually. May the 31st. Let me see. I'm going to go down one more page. Okay, this guy, James, this is his whole name. James or Alan James Pendergrass. He actually went to the court and he put in an affidavit. And according to his affidavit, let me see, he had filed his January the 8th. Yeah, I guess he filed this January the 8th. But this is what he said. He says, there is no evidence that the plaintiff, talking about me, has any interest in this property located at 230 Camelot Drive, Fayetteville, Georgia, in order to bring such actions to court. Then he says, the defendant has seen no evidence to support his claim as landlord, owner, or agent and believes that no such evidence exists. So according to him, I wasn't the landlord, the owner, or agent or anything according to this man here, he is telling you that I did not rent him the property, because, now the crazy part about this is the courts are actually trying to say that I rented this man his property. But this man clearly stated right here, too, that I was not the landlord, the owner, or I didn't have no interest, as he said up here, in the property. Then he says in 3, there is no evidence that the plaintiff have ever never shown himself to the defendant. Notice what he said: I've never shown myself to him, or has visited, passing through, or residing in, or acted as an owner agent to the defendant, nor has the ability to visit the resident in the past or pass through. So he's telling you right here, this man ain't never, he never saw me at the property. I didn't give him permission to go on the property. So this man is saying, okay, the defendant above style do by here request the honorable courts to dismiss the claim by the plaintiff with prejudice. So basically he had put this in because I had put in paper to say, judge, somebody in that house, they don't belong in there. But I like, as he admitted himself, it wasn't me coming by the house. I didn't have nothing to do with him being in the house. I didn't visit the house while he was in the house or whatever. So this man had no prior contact or knowledge. Like I said, the first time I saw him was at the courthouse. So I like the evidence that speaks for itself right here. But this is I guess you can look this man up if you want to with a simple Google search. And this is why I was definitely upset with my attorneys. I had to fire 2 attorneys. Now here I am. I've never been to law school, don't have a law background, anything of that nature. But given my attorneys, the 2 attorneys that I had to fire, simple information, they could have went and did this simple research as well. But for whatever reason, I'm not sure why they did or did not. And if they did do it, they definitely didn't let me know they did it, because it seemed like they just wanted me to take a deal after I paid them in full. So, I'm very heated. Like, I'm expecting you guys to fight. The evidence speaks for itself. But my attorneys didn't want to fight. They received full payment up front, and they told me to take a deal. And, I was heated. But anyway, you can see this gentleman, he got a rap sheet, and it ain't even funny. I guess it's bad. People on Facebook, like this lady said, I just saw you on the news. Your new job, defrauding homeowners out of their SHIT. What she says, and identity theft. Wow. Anyway, then I think the same lady made another comment right here. It says, stop stealing people's property. You are all over the news. That's what she said. I guess I have to turn that up so I guess you can see it. But I guess if you want, you can probably just check out this Facebook page and you can see the ladies and her comments that she's making. But now let me tell you why it really gets strange or a little bit ugly. Because, I guess this is what you call gross negligence. Gross negligence is what we see here. I guess this is the detective Tap. I guess that's how you pronounce his name. It says, who on the oath says to the best of his knowledge and belief, Jermaine Wendell Bradley did in the county aforesaid commit the offense of burglary. This is what the detective said. And it's kind of crazy because later we're going to see the detective didn't come into this case until dates later. But anyway, to the best of his knowledge, based off hearsay, what somebody told him, he said, I committed burglary between the hours of 9 a.m. and 23:59, which is like 12 o'clock at night. So now notice, he said, I committed this burglary on the 22nd of February of 2019. Now this is crazy. 9 in the morning to 12 o'clock at night on February 22nd, 2019. Wow. Wow. This is what the detective is saying, to the best of his knowledge. Then it tells you the address. Then you can read this right here. I'm gonna go ahead and I guess read this again. Jermaine Bradley did commit the offense of burglary when he did enter a vacant dwelling at 230 Camelot Drive, being evicted through due process ×4. Now, earlier we see the guys from the bank said that they evicted Pendergrass, but here's this detective saying that I was evicted, which is not true. I was never evicted from here on February 22nd, 2019. That is not true. Then it says Camelot Drive is located in Fayette County. He did so with, can't really see that, to commit a felony by crossing the threshold of a dwelling. Offender did not have permission from the owner of the household, which is BB&T, nor Remax, the agent of the victim, to access the dwelling. So here's the detective. Old detective. I guess he did his detective work, and he said, I burglarized this house. And this was sworn before me this day. So I guess he wrote this on the 6th of March 2019. Wow. So I guess this might have been typed up on March the 6th, and he talked about something that took place on February 22nd. Now we're gonna see, keep these dates in mind. I guess this was typed up on March the 6th of him telling what happened on February 22nd, 2019. I'm gonna go ahead and go down. Let me read this to make sure, see if this is important. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go down. Okay, so we see here it's saying the bank is a victim and the real estate Remax company is a victim. So we got, here's the witnesses. These are their witnesses. Jeremy Lee, he's an agent for Remax Realty Company. He took some pictures to document the home. Okay. Here's the deputy. He was a witness to the damage, and he was a witness that there was a drill in the offender's possession. Okay. And here is another witness. He was a witness to the damage to the home, assisted with some type of sweep. And here's another witness. He took pictures. So notice they don't have any eyewitnesses as witness, but these are their witnesses. It says I burglarized his home. So they say on February 22nd, due process, Jermaine Bradley was legally evicted from the home located at 230 Camelot Drive. Now, all of this is this detective. This is his story. He is saying that I was evicted from this house on 22nd. And for many of y'all who know, this date, and just like this date right here, is important. Most everybody who know me know that I was born on February 23rd, and quite naturally I would have known what I was doing on February 22nd, which is the day before my born date, which I was at work, and many people can testify to my whereabouts. And it was also the day before my graduation. The 23rd of February 2019 was the day, matter of fact, bam, let me do these while I got my internet up. Let me do these. Y'all see me, J. Leon. Come look for your boy. Let me do these. Do I got my picture? Nope. Here it is. Here we go. This is 2019, February 23rd. I remember that day. See that, 2019? I remember that day and I remember what I was doing the day before. Look, I was an honor student. Boy, y'all playing. Look at that. I was an honor student. What up, Mark? But, so I remember that day very specifically. But let me get back to the story at hand. So anyway, they're telling their story. At least this guy, detective, who didn't do no real detective work. But anyway, it says right here that on February 22nd, due process, Jermaine Bradley was legally evicted from 230 Camelot Drive. And some of y'all, if y'all want, y'all can pause it and just read through this. I don't want to take the time to bore you guys. Then they talk about this guy, Jeremy Lee, came back to the house on February 23rd. He tried to open the doors, but he couldn't open the doors. He heard some music. And I guess he called this detective. And after receiving the case, he took a warrant for my arrest, Mr. Bradley, burglary. So this is, y'all can read it. Pause it and read it if you want to. I'm just going to go ahead and go down and just point out some of the important stuff. I like how it says right here. He says, then sometime between the 23rd of February and March the 13th, Mr. Bradley re-entered the home again. Now that's kind of wild. They just randomly say, well, in between the 23rd of February and March the 13th, Mr. Bradley ran into the home. Not having an eyewitness or nobody to prove what they're saying, they assume this is true. Then we go down here. They say they put a small trail camera out to learn what time Mr. Bradley, they call him, they're saying he, talking about me, what time he accessed the home. The video shows that someone came to the property. Now, here's the thing, someone. It showed that somebody came. It didn't show Mr. Bradley, but somebody came to this property on March the 11th at approximately 3:30 a.m. Now, this is funny. And left by 4:30 a.m. I was not able to dispatch a unit fast enough to respond prior to the subject leaving the residence. Now, to me, this don't make no sense. If anybody ever know anything about Fayetteville, Fayetteville is pretty quiet, very quiet neighborhood. But if you telling me a house was being burglarized at 3:30 in the morning, what in the HE double hockey sticks was going on at 3:30 in the morning? Did you couldn't get nobody out there for a whole hour in Fayetteville? That makes no sense. This is what the detective is saying. The detective, you got cameras with all this technology, and the police force, you couldn't get somebody out to a burglary for a whole hour. It makes no sense. But they're saying somebody was out there. I mean, they had a whole hour to identify whoever this someone is that they were talking about. A whole hour. Thank God it wasn't a murder. But, with their cameras and all of that, they still did not detect who the someone was. Then it says on March the 13th at approximately 10 a.m., a second security sweep was conducted after finding a cordless drill in front of the steps and hearing music playing in the home. Deputies performed the sweep. I called later to Remax to verify that he had entered or given permission for anyone to go into the home prior to checking the home. Okay. I'm not sure why this is important, but he called Lee. But yeah, I guess it's going to be important later because I think we're going to hear about what Lee had to say. Then he says he went back to the office by 16:11 hours, and the subject had returned back to the home. He was driving a dark green 2040 Econo van. And then it says in the van were legal papers listing the resident's address as well as the cordless drill from the residence. So here's the thing: all the legals, the cameras, that's why I like that. He says the video shows. So if they got cameras, they should know exactly who was in the property. They got video cameras. The thing is, where's the video showing me? Instead of accusing me, you claim you have a camera, then you should have the video footage. Okay. Let's go here. Oh yeah, this is what I liked about this. I guess this is the Deputy Stapps, right? It says, assigned to Deputy Stapps, A. Notice this was the date. So if he was assigned this case on the 28th, remember what I was telling y'all earlier about pay attention to the dates? How is he telling a story about what took place on the 23rd if he just received the case? So he believes, to the best of his knowledge, that I committed this crime because he the one who said this. Not knowing that I got the email from the bank themselves saying who they evicted. They know who they evicted because the people from the bank is generally there at the evictions. This officer, he wasn't there at the evictions. So how is he writing this instead of just listening to the bank people? The bank people know who they evicted. But this guy, we got to see what is he, what is his deal? If he got this on the 28th, you writing a story or your belief about the 23rd. This is gross negligence. Okay. But I think this is the responding officer. So he would have known what took place, not this guy. So the responding officer is this Storm J. This is the officer that knows or that was there. Because I guess he responded or what have you. So let's go down again. Okay, right here. Okay, it says on the above date, I, Deputy Storm, and Deputy Glad. So here's these people here. Were dispatched to 230 Camelot Drive, Fayetteville, Georgia, in reference to a criminal trespass report that originally was reported as a domestic standby. Upon arrival, we met with the complainant, Jeremy Lee. So now we're going to see what date, who was hired by the bank as a contractor to do some work on the home for the bank. Lee stated that the lockbox had been removed from the front of the home and all the locks on all the doors had been changed. Again, since this is February 22nd, 19, that's 2/22/19, Lee stated that Lee stated that none of his keys would open the doors and the home either and stereo were playing loudly inside. Lee stated that previous occupant Jermaine Bradley was evicted and removed 02/22/2019. However, when the eviction took place that day, he was not in the home. So here is Lee. This is Lee, the guy from the bank himself, saying when they did an eviction on when they did an eviction, February 22nd, 2019, that I was not in the home. So here's Lee himself admitting that Mr. Bradley was not evicted from the home. Okay? I was not there. Of course I wasn't there. Now what's funny is Lee was there 2009. I'm assuming that Lee was there at the property February 22nd, 2019. So February 22nd, 2019 was the date they said I burglarized the property. Now how could I be burglarizing the property if they were there doing an eviction? It doesn't make sense to say I was there if they were there doing an eviction. I was not there, but they was there. And typically real estate people don't go and do an eviction or whatever by themselves. It's generally some type of law enforcement there. So there had to be some type of law enforcement there to help Mr. Lee with the eviction. But you guys can read the rest of this on your own time. Notice all workplace throughout the home. No trespassing signs. Yeah, y'all can read all of this. Pause it and read it. But what I want to point out is Mr. Lee was there, and I'm sure some form of police officer or sheriff was there with Mr. Lee. But I like how Mr. Lee said himself that Mr. Bradley was not in the home. Mr. Bradley was at work. I'm sure you can still go to my job and ask them to check the records and see when Mr. Bradley clocked in and was he accountable for work. Was he preparing for his graduation the next day? Because not only was it his graduation, he's a part of the staff. So, you know, let's go down a little. Oh, wow, I thought I had more. I think I got more documents, but anyway, I'll continue this a little bit later. Thank you. Oh, matter of fact, this is what I want to do. Before I let you guys go, I want you guys to watch this video. I told y'all I'll let y'all know a little bit more about Alan Pendergrass, who he is. Check this out.
Woman claims a man named Alan Pendergrass defrauded her out of a home she bought for her mother to live in.
Pendergrass denies it, and while the two battle it out in civil court, our I-team found Pendergrass is slated to go on trial in federal court on criminal charges of fraud. Senior I-team reporter Dale Russell has the latest.
Sometimes it can seem as if Alan Pendergrass is doing something different all over town, as you can see on his Facebook page, working, dining out, worshiping, and celebrating. But in a local lawsuit, this woman claims that it all adds up to one thing: theft.
He signed my deed and transferred over my deed without me knowing.
Crayla Bryce is talking about this house, 1045 Lawton Avenue in southwest Atlanta. The deed states she bought it in 2012. She said she wanted her mother to have a place to live after her mother was badly injured in an auto accident.
She used some of the money from her accident to help me renovate.
At some point, her mother, seen in some of these pictures, developed an intimate relationship with Alan Pendergrass. He admitted it in his answer to the lawsuit. Crayla Bryce knew her mother was dating someone named Alan Pendergrass, and she knew he was teaching her mother about tax liens and convinced her to become a business partner in a notary public.
Did you know anything at all about his background?
No.
Here's what Crayla Bryce didn't know. In 2015, Alan Pendergrass pleaded guilty to 2 counts of bank fraud in Ohio. A federal judge sentenced him to 30 months in prison. And when he got out, he came here to Atlanta and met Crayla Bryce's mother. Crayla Bryce contends in a lawsuit that after Alan Pendergrass returned to Atlanta, he forged her signature on a deed and sold her home to a company called Georgia Property Tax Solutions. Pendergrass's daughter, Ashley Hayes, is a registered agent of the company, according to the lawsuit, and she's a defendant in the case.
Honestly, when I found out, I just couldn't go to sleep. I just kept Googling and finding out more and more and more stuff. because I was just so shocked.
She claims in the suit Pendergrass tricked her mother into signing off on the deal. How? The suit claims Pendergrass had Crayla Bryce's mother practice signing documents with her new notary stamp. The suit contends Pendergrass took one of those notarized but practiced documents and forged Crayla Bryce's signature on it to make it look like she had sold her home.
That was not my signature. Like, there was no way. My handwriting is totally different.
Pendergrass countersued, claiming Crayla Bryce's mother purchased the Lawton Street home and put the deed in her daughter Crayla Bryce's name. Pendergrass claims that the mother had authority to sell the property to him.
My mom's never had power of attorney. My mom's never had the right to sell my house.
Crayla Bryce is not alone. The owner of this home in Atlanta also sued Georgia Property Tax Solutions and Alan Pendergrass. One accusation in the suit: Pendergrass has a history of defrauding senior citizens out of their homes. Pendergrass denied the charges in his answer to the lawsuit. But there's more. While Alan Pendergrass is battling over allegations in civil court that he defrauded homeowners, he's set to go on trial in federal court on new criminal charges of aggravated identity theft and mail fraud. The U.S. attorney described the alleged scheme, claiming Pendergrass and a co-defendant mailed forged power of attorney forms to the city of Atlanta and fraudulently claimed over $100,000 owed to local businesses and residents. Those forms included forged signatures.
You've got someone who's under investigation in a criminal case and might also be the subject of a lawsuit. That's not uncommon at all.
Jeff Rickman is a former DeKalb County District Attorney and Assistant Federal Prosecutor. He says Pendergrass's situation is often seen by prosecutors, and he was not surprised when he examined the court records.
From what I've read of the priors and the conduct for which he's charged now is that the schemes were similar. And that's why that kind of evidence is so powerful.
You mad?
I'm upset. Like, I'm mad, I'm upset, I'm sad. I was crying earlier.
Crayla Bryce just wants it over with, and she wants her home back for her mother to live in.
I just woke up one day and now your house isn't your house. Like, what else is in mine? Like, what else are these people doing out here?
We reached out to Alan Pendergrass through his family for comment. We didn't hear back from him. His lawyer says Crayla Bryce's lawsuit is frivolous, and she plans to file a motion to have it dismissed. Dale Russell, Fox 5 News.
Reach for the stars. Reach for the stars. Reach for the stars. Yeah. I never been scared no one. I just been up for a minute. They hate that they lost and they see that I'm winning. They hating the crown 'cause they